Hey, it's Renee. Welcome to my channel. So I thought today I would finally test out the supposedly most pigmented, the most full coverage foundation ever. And truthfully, I've already worn it for a day. It's the Dermacol Film Studio Barrandov Prague makeup cover. So today I'm actually in this lighting, I'm just gonna show you how it applies and everything. I already have some eye makeup on. But I'm just gonna show you how it applies with a brush and with a sponge, and then I will be including a wear test from another day going outside and then kind of seeing like it in the elements and everything. But yeah, if you wanna see how this product applies to my face, if you notice I'm in a little different spot, there's just no good lighting in my house today except for right here, so here's where we are. But yeah, if you wanna see how this product applies, just stay tuned and we'll get into it. Okay, so it does come in like this it kind of reminds me of like an oil paint tube. That's honestly like the closest thing that I can think of. So kind of how I'm testing at least today on how it applies, I have kind of these two big like scabs. I have like a big scab underneath my neck, and then I have this whole side to take care of. And then I'm just gonna kind of use it to clean up. And then the brushes I'm gonna use, I think that these provide like the best, most even full coverage. So I'm gonna use this brush for this side, and then I'm gonna use a Real Technique sponge on this side. But yeah, I'm just going to dot it on. And then a little bit on the, don't get me wrong, you still get a lot of product in here. Like you get like your standard, I think you get like a little bit over an ounce. All right, so we're gonna use this on this side first. Okay, so that's how it applies with a brush, at least with one of these. And I feel like you can still kind of see the acne through it. Let's get it in my eyes a little bit. Bring it down the neck. But there is a definite difference between the two sides. You can see it's much more covered. This side is much more red and much more scabby. It's a little extra. So next I'm gonna go in with a little bit more product on the other side and just use the sponge on this side. Okay, so I finished up this side. I actually do feel like I did get a little bit more coverage with the sponge, but you can still, I feel like, see all of my scabs. Like there's that underneath my neck, there's that, and I feel like you can still see all of it. I will say this foundation, even when I wore it the other day, I feel like it really does a good job of smoothing out any texture that you have. And because I do have a lot of texture just from having acne, I have bumps on my face, that's just my life. But yeah, I do feel like you get a little bit more coverage with the sponge, and I feel like it does look a little bit better because I feel like that doesn't really shears it out, but I feel like with a brush, I almost feel like it's too thick for a brush. I'm going to finish up the rest of my makeup, and then we're gonna talk about the claims and everything and kind of what I thought of this foundation after a kind of just a solid 12, 13 hour day of wearing it while at school when it was hot out. And then once that's done, then you will see the wear test throughout the day with various check-in times. Okay, so makeup is done. It is now 2:01, so it's been about a half an hour since I applied this. I do feel like it is one of those foundations that definitely it settles into your skin nice. This stuff, since it is kind of meant for like photography and stuff, films so well. Like I feel like my face looks so like blurred and amazing, when in reality, I actually did end up going over that area, and all of this with concealer just to kind of help cover it. And that was after trying to build the foundation because I went over my whole face with the sponge again just to see how it looked. It is a little bit darker, even like the 208 shade, and it oxidizes throughout the day just based off of like what I wore it before. But I just wanted to read from Dermacol's website, kind of just like what the claims are and everything. So the benefits, it is waterproof. I mean, it does an okay job with like sweat and everything just from me wearing it. Like none of the stuff on my forehead came off. But at the end of the day, like I blotted like before one of my check-ins like in the bathroom just because I looked insane and I didn't have any powder on me. And a ton of foundation came off. And then it says it's hypoallergenic. It is true, it didn't break me out or anything because I have pretty like sensitive skin. I get acne a lot. For all skin types, I have like extremely oily skin, but pretty much concentrated like in my forehead and then my T-zone and on my chin and everything. Around here, I feel like it looks really good like in these spots. And like kind of right here where I get more dry skin, because if you have oily skin and you don't blot throughout the day or you don't touch up with powder, it starts to get cakey and it breaks up. So I would not say it's for all skin types. I think that if you have extremely dry skin with maybe dry patches and I know scaliness and dry patches, and you're worried about like your imperfections showing, I think this would be a really good foundation for you, just because I don't know, it just does, it is very moisturizing, and it helps kind of cover everything, and it gives you that moisture throughout the day. And preservative free, and it has an SPF of 30, which I think is really nice. But this is what, and it says for coverage, it says full and then extreme. I think that's a little bit of an extreme claim, but whatever. But it says, tested extreme covering makeup cover was created as the first of its kind in Europe and one of the first in the world. The license for this foundation was eventually sold to Hollywood. It contains 50% pigments, which I also looked up. I know that one of the other really full coverage foundations is Kat Von D, the Lock-It foundation. With hers, it has 21% pigment, at least according to Sephora's website, and probably her website too. But according to this, it's formulated with 50% pigment, which means it's over, like, it's more than half of what the Kat Von D is. Which makes it a weapon against skin imperfections. Dermacol makeup cover provides coverage even in thin layers and is the perfect corrector for dark under eye, unpleasant spots, and skin blemishes. I would say that it doesn't really cover dark under eyes, just because I have extremely dark under eyes and I had to use concealer today still too. And I use like 2 concealers and I finally have like decent coverage, but you can still, I feel like, kind of see. And since it creases so bad underneath your eyes, even if you do set it, I would definitely not say that it's meant for under your eyes. It is completely covers acne, loss of pigmentation, post-surgical bruising, tattoos, etc. I wish I had a tattoo, because I would love to try and see how that looks. Because yeah, tattoos are supposed to be like blue or green, and so it's like I'd wonder actually how it does, because it doesn't really cover my under eyes that well. It may be used on the entire face or body for color correction, darkening, or lightening the skin tones, and ensuring the ideal balance. It is widely used as professional makeup for photo or film shoots, modeling, and for festive occasions. Like I said, I feel like it looks incredible on camera. Like if you just want like a nice looking foundation, like if you're filming or if you're going out and taking photos or like for weddings or something, this looks great. Like my skin looks so blurred. Up close, I think you can kind of see my pores a little bit and you can kind of see my under eyes a little bit, but just with some concealer, like you're good to go. I think that if you're gonna wear it for a couple of hours, you're fine. But I don't know. I don't know if it's really good for long-term wear, especially for how expensive this foundation is right now. Also, there's like, look at that shade range. That's like nothing. Come on. There's literally like no deep skin tone shades. There's product, it's 224. I have 208 on, which is lighter than 207. But that's 224. And that's literally for like medium skin tones, and so it's like if you have like a deeper complexion, you are not going to be able to wear this, and like that's and then I got mine on Amazon. I had like a $5 credit thing, so I ended up getting mine for around $9, and at the time mine was retailing for about $14, at least my shade. But yeah, no, overall I'm going to talk about kind of like right here how I feel about it. I do think that it is not a bad foundation. I do think I have definitely tried way worse, and like I said, I feel like my skin right now looks really good, but it is not for long-term wear. I go to school where it's super humid, and so I was like, I'm gonna wear this and test it and see how actually waterproof it is. And it got to about 4 o'clock that I really started noticing how oily I was getting, and I started noticing like major breakups on the chin, and I feel like I just looked really oily. And then it wasn't the worst though. I was like, okay, well, when I have a chance, I'll go and I'll powder my face and everything. And then I actually never got a chance to do that. I did go into the bathroom, but I like left my powder. And during my late night class, I went into the bathroom at around 6 o'clock, and my face looked awful. Like there was so much, like literally like my whole chin, it just had lines in it because it was just breaking apart and separating from the oils on my skin. It just was not cute at all. Now, if I had some powder, if I had used a sponge and kind of blended it out, I feel like it would have looked better. But this whole side right here, these two sides I get a lot of creasing right here, and so this whole side had creased and gotten cakey. My whole chin was cakey, my upper lip was cakey, my nose was cakey, and like right here was all cakey. This whole side, like my makeup from here to here and like here looked great. Like it looked fantastic. My under eyes, it had completely creased under my under eyes. So any spots like where you get cakiness or if you're oily, I can't imagine this working for you long term. Now, maybe if I could mix it with like a mattifying foundation down the middle or like a mattifying primer, then maybe it would be fine. But on its own, and I even use Coty Airspun too. This stuff is like glue for people with oily skin. Like it just stays on your face. It controls my oils. Like it looks so good. And I use the exact same primer that I always do. And I don't know if it just didn't mesh well with the primer. I used the CoverGirl Outlast. But yeah, it just melted after a while. It just did not look good. Then I took a paper towel and I just like blotted my face because I was like, I cannot go back to class like this. Like I have friends in there. I don't want them to see me like this. And then I got home later that night and it was I left school probably at about like 9, a little before 9. And then I got home at probably about maybe 10:30, 11. And then I went and checked in and I looked so shiny, and that was blotting from like 2 hours ago. I still looked really, really shiny and really, really cakey. So I mean, if you're looking for, if you have oily skin and you're looking for a foundation that'll last you a long time on oily skin, this foundation is not it. If you have really dry skin, I could see this foundation honestly working pretty well for you. Yeah, so like I said, it lasted well probably for the first like 5-6 hours, and then after that, it was just like, just a cakey mess. And if you don't have time to like blend it out or anything like that, it's just not gonna look good, which sucks because it's a really nice looking foundation even when you put it on there. Like it doesn't feel like sticky or anything. And even though it is kind of thicker, since it is more of like a, I don't know, it's more of like a cream kind of consistency, it's just really thick. It doesn't feel thick when you put it on. Like even if you have powder on top, it doesn't feel like awful like you would think it would. But yeah, no. Other than that, I do see myself probably using it again for filming and maybe for more days where like I do have like a mattifying foundation that I can mix in. But on the day-to-day, just wearing it by itself, I just don't see myself using it at all.
Hey, it is 4:43. I'm quite oily. I haven't blotted at all. I haven't applied any more powder. Coverage is still there though. Under my eyes, it's creasing like crazy. But I don't hate it. I feel like I don't look that oily. Let's see. Also, I feel like my texture isn't as noticeable as it normally is. Very cakey on my chin, upper lip. Not bad on my nose since I was wearing sunglasses, but it did get cakey right here. Basically all the spots that I got oily and under my eyes it creased like crazy. I picked at this earlier, so it's off. Yeah, torn off like right there. It's all cakey. This is really the spots I got oily, basically coming off. Forehead looks nice though. About 6:45. And so this is just gonna be my end of the night check-in on this foundation. But it is currently 10:06. I just got home from school. Had it on since I had it on since about 9 this morning. That's probably when I finished applying my face makeup. And like I feel like overall on my like outer cheek area where I don't really get that oily, I feel like it really kind of like the highlight is still very strong, and so is it on my nose, but kind of on the areas where I got, it's so terrible, but kind of on the spots where I get more oily, like on my upper lip, a lot of it's rubbed off like there and there, and a lot of it's rubbed off on my chin, and it's gotten really cakey right here, but I think that's just because those are the spots that I get oily on. Other than that, like on the side of my face and everything, this came off because I picked at it earlier. But I feel like you did a really good job at like overall kind of smoothing out my texture. Especially, I feel like it still looks like pretty good. I feel like my forehead looks really good. It doesn't look like super oily, but it is definitely a foundation where like if you touch your forehead or like you touch anywhere where like your oils and your foundation kind of mix together. So definitely when you like, see if you can see that, definitely foundation definitely rubs off, but even then I feel like it didn't take off too much. But overall, I like this foundation. Probably what I'm gonna do in the future, just because I do like the texture that it gives. I like how it looks on my skin. Like I said, it's very moisturizing feeling. I'm definitely not ever gonna put it under my eyes again because it looks awful, even with concealer on too. But I'm probably what I'm gonna do. I have a more like mattifying foundation, so I might, when I put this on, maybe like layer the two and focus the mattifying stuff in the corner, or I can always get a mattifying primer and just put it on the center of my face. Other than that, I really like higher end of drugstore, but it's not bad. But yeah, it's not, I would definitely say it's not the most full coverage. Like I feel like if you use like, I don't know, I feel like it's not intensely as full coverage as they claim. I feel like I put it on this morning and it was just like so-so. But I'll show you a demo. You'll see a demo earlier on. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's that full coverage. I think you can build it up to be full coverage, but it's not like incredibly full coverage. But overall, I like it. Like I said, I really like the skin-like finish. It is like that. It's just really cakey right here. Where if you're oily, so if you're oily skin, definitely you probably want to mix it with another foundation that's more mattifying, or use like a mattifying primer. So I feel like it kind of emphasized my like smile lines too, like right here. I feel like it kind of emphasized these right here, which I have a problem with. But yeah, overall I liked it. But yeah, if you liked this video, leave a comment down below, subscribe, it's great to have you here. Yeah, again, my name is Renee. Thanks for watching. Do it. Bye.